What's going on, gamers? We got some funny stuff here when it comes to self-farming and just crashing out again. And it's a post that the Fable devs actually replied to later on, which they're actually cool because they actually check replies, because you could see this started on May 19th, but they ended up replying on the 20th. This is a couple days ago. I wanted to react to this because this is actually funny. So Emilu says, my vacation time will be spent on this game. She plans on playing Fable a lot. The Fable devs say time well spent, hero, right? Okay, cool, right? Kevin comes down and says, please tell me it's coming to PS5, right? And this way I know these guys are cool. They came and replied later, and they said Fable will be available at launch on Xbox Series X, S, Game Pass, Steam, and PlayStation 5. So right here, they deny exclusivity, right? But this is where it gets interesting because the Xbox fanboys cannot handle this. And these are people that are not pushing for what it's obvious Microsoft has said for the longest and the most intelligent route, which we know they have to take, except the hear you stuff that people got caught up on. But it's like, it's not realistic to Satya's plan. We just saw how much money they lost again with the Activision deal, losing 250 million on top of the 300 with Call of Duty on Game Pass. Let's not talk about all the other profit that's been lost too, putting things day one on Game Pass that they try to make up for in other platforms. But going down, this is where it gets interesting. He says, well, I'll be on day one, right? Dandy guy says Fable should never appear on PlayStation. This is the funny part because this guy obviously cannot handle that Fable is coming to PlayStation. And it gets kind of interesting in the comments. But we got some more to take a look at as well. But we're going to start off with his, right? So this post obviously has almost 21,000 views. People saw this. He couldn't handle it. And the interesting thing is, you know, he's not a huge influencer on Twitter or whatever. He just happens to post like that. He's following way more than people that are following him. Heidigan says the adults are in charge now. Xbox is multi-platform. That's kind of funny that he thinks that means you're adult oriented because it's going to all platforms. I can see people have the mentality of saying plastic box and exclusives and it's being toy this and it's being childish. That's not necessarily the case when you think about identity crisis and identity. I've already explained that when you look on the market at Apple or Nvidia going back and forth for number one on the market, they have a strong identity. It's not childish that Apple is exclusive. That Google and YouTube is exclusive, that are run by adults. Or, you know, something else beyond the veil. But you get what I mean. Nvidia, number one. Google was sometimes number one. Microsoft at one point was number one. And they have their identity with Windows. You see what I mean? Google with YouTube and, you know, Gemini now as well. Nothing's bigger than Google and YouTube when you think about what people use. And that's an identity that people subscribe to. Same thing with Marvel, same thing with Disney, Nintendo, Pokemon, Mario. You know what I mean? It's like identities always rule the world. Like who's ruling in sports icons? We think about Cristiano Ronaldo, right? That's an identity. When you think about Michael Jordan, when he had his exclusivity was Nike, that was an identity ruling over every other brand by a mile. This is not anything new here. Of course, in the Xbox world, they want identity. It's not so much about multi-platform, but more about being able to stand on your own and have a strong identity and a strong American identity. Who wouldn't want that? You're lying to me if you say you wouldn't. But Danny Guy says, ignoring the clear statements they have recently made regarding reevaluating exclusivity doesn't help your argument. Well, dude, let me tell you something. Satya never said that. It's only just Asha farm engaging you and trolling you because she's not in control to decide that. He's going to decide that because that goes back to him. And he will not have that. He's not going to be a terrible publisher. He doesn't want to lose that money. So I'm telling you right now, the funny thing is how you guys just can't figure that out. And then you keep like hammering at it because when you really saw what happened, I can't say I can blame you because you understand the importance of it. Though I can't say, which is kind of funny because it's a hypocritical flip-flopping because before it was all about pushing multi-platform. And now ever since she came back around, you kind of want to push that back and seeing Sony do that. It's like, yeah, you guys are unstable. You know, it's funny. But yeah, I mean, it's not hard to really see that. But let's keep looking down here, though. I was going to say something, but I'm going to get back to that in a second. Eyes on the inside. Oh, my God. They just bought exclusivity anyway. They didn't create the IP. In fact, they later bought the studio, then closed it. Neither did PlayStation. What's your point? Really? It's like, hold on. That's kind of an irrelevant statement because Sony is exclusive. And they do a better job when they buy studios. You know what I mean? Besides Bungie. I don't know about that. But they got to make Destiny 3 to make up for that. But things get interesting. This guy says cry harder. And so the tissues, that's actually pretty funny right here. He's like crying. This dude tells him to STFU. You know how that can get sometimes, because he's like, just be quiet with this. They're basically going with the Xbox fanboy stuff. This guy says today PlayStation fanboys like yourself saw Sony porting their games to PC and Xbox. I was all for Helldivers going over, because I feel like that's something you need for live service. You want to expand your community. It's live service. That's different. Single player, it's the point if you're getting only that amount, but you did make up for the mistakes you made your generation, and now you go back exclusive with the mistakes covered. Hey, if it sounds like to me Sony's winning no matter what. So that's just the way that it works. This guy says, so you're a Fable fan who wants other people to not be able to play Fable. There's nothing wrong with that standpoint. The thing is, Fable needs to succeed. They need a PlayStation sales. It's not Forza. It's not guaranteed to come later and do that. No, some games you need to launch day and date. We've seen results when that didn't happen before. So he says, spare me. It's not strange to disagree with the decision to release a long-standing tentpole Xbox franchise on a rival platform. First and foremost, Fable was okay at the beginning, but then it fell off and disappeared for a long time. So I don't know about tentpole, bro. You know what I mean? They kind of don't still have that power. It has to be reinvigorated with a different developer who nobody else I would want to have it, probably besides them, if it's not the original developers. And rather want to see Xbox tentpole first-party franchises be preserved as exclusives as they always were, like every smart platform holder does. Correct. But guess what? Your market is dead. Game Pass Day One games have brainwashed people to not want to buy games on Xbox. You don't have the install base. You can't even sell 100,000 consoles a month. Switch 2's eating your lunch, doubling your sales now. How could you afford to do that? I've already explained this before. It's not possible, but I understand what you're saying, bro. PlayStation and Nintendo don't entertain this suicidal business decision because they know it murders hardware sales. I don't want Xbox to bail on consoles down the road and become a non-viable competitor. I'm sorry, bro, but that's pretty much where they're at. Which is exactly what will happen if they continue down this path of releasing their IPs on rival platforms. Dude, they're already far down in the grave, I promise you, hardware-wise. I'm sorry, I don't want to see that. I'm just telling the truth and facing the music and waking up people when they sleep and they get mad at me. They don't want to say Dreamcast guy and all this. Like, man, be quiet. You just can't handle the truth. We've seen what it has done in the last few years to hardware sales. And there is a genuine concern of what that would mean for the digital libraries that have been established on the platform. Wanting Xbox to stay competitive and healthy isn't gatekeeping. I like this guy's idea, but he has to understand the situations from the fiscal result and from a sales result and just from the hardware result. It's kind of impossible to recover the Series X generation. Now, if they had like a cheaper Xbox Helix S model for like $600 or $5 something, then I would say, okay, if you want to try that with that, but you're going to have to put Steam over there, because if you really want your own ecosystem, you can't do that. So you would have to strengthen people focusing on the Xbox app, the Xbox store on your console, and you're going to have to put Steam to the side. You're not getting PlayStation games anymore anyways. They're gone. So what do you want to do? You see what I mean? It's like, that's stuff you have to think about. It's refusing to watch Xbox euthanize its own tentpoles and brand with a brain dead strategy. I wouldn't want PlayStation or Nintendo to do the same thing. Nintendo's never going to do that, and Sony already saw what they needed to do. They're going with a hybrid model where live service games need to go out. That makes sense. You need live service to be alive as possible. It's not single player, so it's different. Because having all three brands aggressively competing on an even playing field is better for everyone. Yeah, when it was like that. Hey, look, you know what? I understand this comment, but it's funny. Wait till you see some other comments, though. It continually boggles my mind how people have forgotten this fundamental fact of the console business over the years and have instead been leaning towards some cringe kumbaya behavior in order to push for every single game being multi-platform. Let me put on that PlayStation Halo t-shirt and pimp out and cuck out. Yeah, hey man, they don't got no choice. When that would actually stifle the console gaming industry. At least this guy understands that identity crisis there. I got to give him props from this. You know what I mean? Though he's begging for the exclusivity, but hey, man, you're not in that. This guy says, just shut up, moron. Jesus, wow. That's some funny stuff right here. So things get interesting. Guys, we got another comment to go to, though. That's the first one to get here. But you know what? There's something about that guy I actually like. And they're saying PS5. Oh, hell yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Here we go again. So here's the next one right here. This is going to get interesting. And it's by Cass. He says, so we don't get Wolverine, Spider-Man, Soros, Marvel Tokon Fighting, Ghost of Yote, Gran Turismo, Demon Souls, Astrobot. Do I need to keep going? Intergalactic, Uncharted Collection. But they get every Xbox exclusive and enjoy PlayStation exclusives. Not only that, but we get it with PSSR 2 as well. Also, Ashar, please fix this. It's like Netflix putting Wednesday on Disney. Plus, while Netflix subscribers don't get Star Wars, I guess we got to buy a PlayStation because it has Xbox games too. Well, they don't care because they just want strong publishing. This was kind of the point a long time ago. That was already said by Phil Spencer because he threw in the towel and accepted it. And then Satya knew what he wanted too, and they got to get their money back. You can't do that losing $150 million on each game trying to make it exclusive because you can't make back the $200 million or whatever. Where you want to get the sales from Xbox? Game Pass is going to make you that money back? Come on, man. You see what I mean? Then you're just losing more money on top of the $250 million they just lost because of getting Activision for Xbox, $300 million for Call of Duty, and you haven't gotten back to Activision billions and billions that you spent. You see what I mean, dude? It's not going to add up to profitability. It's just going to be a sinkhole. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. Odd AI says, you got Death Stranding, MLB The Show, and Helldivers. That's like me saying you got Call of Duty, Fallout, and Dishonored. I don't know about Call of Duty, bro. That's much bigger than those. But Helldivers and MLB, yeah, you know. But once again, Death Stranding went to Kojima. He got the rights. That's why he branched it out. MLB The Show is kind of like a sports online game. They're just want to multi-platform that. And Helldivers is online. That fit the ecosystem. It's live service, which I thought was an excellent choice. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and double back on that and say, no, that should, no, dude. That was good. You needed that. That helps out your live service. That's different. Single player, no. So this guy says, well, no, because shows and movies take months or a year to make max and don't cost nearly as much to produce. As soon as Xbox spent $100 billion on Activision and Bethesda, it guaranteed exclusives no longer possible. That's what I'm saying. You got to get that money back. And they monopolize more than that, too. They also end up getting Obsidian and a couple other people. Don't make nearly enough money being dead last in players. And you were spending billions to get games on Game Pass so that they could be there, third-party games and stuff. And losing money by putting your games day one on Game Pass. So they have to make back all that money. How are they going to do that? You don't have an ecosystem to stand on its own. It's impossible. So it can't happen. Bethesda cost $7 billion, and it was an amazing buy. I think it was 8 actually, compared to PlayStation or whatever. Who does Bungie deal? Activision may be the issue, and player count isn't an exact money machine. PlayStation has 92 million players, but Soros has like 300,000 copies sold. So players who actually buy games is what matters. In a sense, you're right, and I don't know how much Soros sold because we have to actually see the results. But it's a House Marquee IP, and it's still a AAA indie game that evolved just like Returnal. It's another game that should have been $49.99 or $59.99, and it would have sold more. But it's not a game that you think is going to be a system seller. I never thought that. I thought if they got 2 million sales off of that game, that's really good. But Sony made the same mistake with Soros that they made with Returnal. It should have not been $69.99. Returnal should have been $49.99. But anyways, Microsoft still spent $70 billion with Activision. If you think about the lawsuits and all of that and going to court, plus the $8 billion, so it's like $78 billion. Plus they've spent like another $10 billion on other acquisitions on top of stuff they put on Game Pass and what they're invested in the Game Pass yearly too, consistently, and getting the smart deliveries. They're spending a lot of money, and then you realize no results came in to increase the hardware or anything. Like, what was the point? It's ridiculous. They have to find a way to make that back. So it's not going to happen. So we don't get Wolverine, Spider-Man, Soros, but they get every Xbox exclusive and PlayStation exclusive. Archer, please fix this. It's like Netflix putting Wednesday on Disney while Netflix subscribers don't get Star Wars. I guess we gotta buy a PlayStation. This person says, son, funny stuff. But guys, there we go again. People having these type of comments kind of like going here. And, you know, we're not done here. King says, why is there so many people crying in these comments as if it's hurting their pockets? Let Microsoft and Xbox run a profitable business. Like they knew how to do that. I mean, dude, come on, really? There's too much emotion tied to console warring and trying to bully companies into doing what's not financially sustainable. Okay, yeah, that's a good way to conclude it. I agree with you on that. They can't do it. Here we go again. I love that I bought an Xbox only for them to turn around and release everything on PlayStation. I wouldn't have wasted my money and just got a PlayStation instead if I had known. And they'll do PSSR 2 and all that. So guys, we're getting it right here. Like I said, I cannot wait. I'm buying 2 copies of this game, one for Xbox and one for PlayStation. He's all for it. He's accepted the reality. But yeah, this guy is not happy about it. He's in sad panda land. So, you know, it'll be all right, man. Give him a little pat on the head. Here we go. Another one. Stop disrespecting Xbox fans by putting Fable, Halo, and Gears on the PlayStation 5. On the brand's 25th anniversary, you make the worst move in Xbox history and disrespect those who put the brand where it is. You've already lost many fans by putting Halo. Let me put on that t-shirt. I'm gonna pull up that guy real quick. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. But we know where Katana's going. Halo, Fable, and Gears on the PlayStation 5. You guys see it. They do not like this. There is a war going on right now inside of the Xbox world where they believe strongly that exclusives can come back, and they want them to come back without understanding the publishing consequences and lots of other things. There's going to be shutdowns. You don't want that. Echo Dad says Fable and Halo on Xbox on the 25th year anniversary. For shame. Phil Spencer should never show his face again. Oh boy. Cancel it on PlayStation 5 if you want Game Pass royalties. This is actually funny. Here it is, guys. Look, I'm just showing you guys. Cancel that PlayStation 5 port. Fable should be exclusive. They're going insane over it. We see it. In the first trailers, you announced it as an Xbox exclusive lit. The main reason why I chose Xbox over a PlayStation 5. This game should be only on Xbox and PC to increase console sales. But no, dude, if Forza ain't doing it, what are you talking about? Let's see the May sales. It's coming to PlayStation 5, and there people will buy it on PlayStation 5 and ignore the Xbox version. Should have been an Xbox exclusive for the 25th anniversary. This was a poor decision by previous leadership. Hopefully the new Xbox management understands the assignment moving forward. Guys, they're going off. They're crashing. They can't handle it. See, AGN's just trying to show you. Why did you think that when Microsoft was pushing that third-party perspective for the longest, so many Xbox sales tanked and PlayStation sales increased and a lot of people were leaving? There was a lot of people. Why do you think that Matt Piscatella's survey also said last year 50% of players chose that the reason why they buy a console is for exclusives? And this year was 41%, but the survey wasn't as big. It's still about like that. Now with this coming back, that's gonna, if you did it now, it would probably be 50-something%. We know Nintendo base is not gonna ever change. We know the PlayStation base wants exclusivity. We know Steam players want Half-Life 3 on there to put in front of people's face because they don't make any exclusives anymore. They have to kind of step up with that. But guys, if you are reading this thread, this is not PlayStation gamers. This is not Nintendo gamers. This is not PC gamers. These are Xbox gamers crying out for exclusivity. They want it. It was always there. It was fake. You see what I mean? AJ was just trying to tell you the whole time. That's why I was like, flip, flop, flip, flop. You know what I mean? The whole time, because it's not real. They're asking for an identity and an American identity. They're crying to Asha, but she's not in charge. Satya is. Whether you think she is or not, just like Phil wasn't in charge after a certain point like you thought he was. Yeah, Sarah Bond, not even close to being in charge either. Satya. And if he says no, it is not going to happen. This is what I'm trying to get you guys to see. It's like, hey, I would be all for it if Xbox consoles started doubling the sales of the Switch 2. You're selling 400K. You're right there next to PlayStation now. It's like, oh man, this is getting interesting. Now you drop the price by $150. What happens? You start bundling in games in 3 months of Game Pass. But are they going to subsidize and do that? I don't know, man. They just lost another $250 million off of that Activision deal. They're looking for more ways to make their money back. And that means not going exclusive. I just don't see them doing that. The closest you're going to get to that is Forza right now. But that's on Steam. And you needed that money. You see what I mean? This is how you knew. If they wanted to try that, they would have not put it on Steam. But they knew they couldn't do that. They needed Steam. That's another platform. That is not Xbox. That's Valve. And that is Proton and Linux. So it's completely different. So let me know what you guys think about this. It's interesting here as we see this. We could probably go down and find some more. This is the kind of nonsensical crap harming the Xbox brand and why many of us left in droves. You have some intern running the Fable Twitter handling promoting PS5, and this is being clipped and posted across forums everywhere, making a mockery of Xbox and its fans. Guys, it's all right here. Loving this return of Xbox, really knows how to put console first. Again, I remind Xbox players, we likely would have Fable last year, but Phil and Sarah made them bring everything to a halt to make sure PlayStation fans felt special on day one. No, it's not just Phil that. It's also Satya wanting that publishing money. Here it is, guys. It'll only damage Xbox. The AGN wasn't just saying that. He knows what all gamers are thinking, because this is what it's always been about. This is how people competed back in the days. This is how sports teams compete. Everybody competes exclusively. It's nothing new here. And you all got your team players and your superstars on your team. And in the gaming world, it's the mascots in the games. There it is. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Become a member if you want. Leave a tip if you want. I appreciate that. Like, comment, subscribe as usual. Have a great day. Keep on gaming. Realize the power of exclusive. Only on PlayStation. Nintendo power. Only on Nintendo. Exclusive. Remember those E3 days? Later, y'all.